Welcome to AMBCrypto's interview. Thank you, Bobby Ong, for joining us from CoinGecko. Now, we're at this juncture in the market where exchange volume is pertinent, especially the number of reports that have come out from Bitwise, from the TIE, from Crypto Compare, that have suggested that exchange volume has been manipulated. Over 95% of exchanges have volume that is fake or non-economic in nature. And at this juncture, to be joined by the pioneers of the trust score by CoinGecko is extremely important. So with that, I would like to welcome Bobby Ong to this interview.
Thank you very much, Akash. We're happy to be on the show with you.
Right. So first thing, we would like to immediately start off with Trust Score. Now, you came out with Trust Score over a month ago, and it's been making a lot of waves in the market. Can you elaborate more on what the Trust Score is and how this will combat fake exchange volume?
Sure, most definitely. So the reason we introduced Trust Score on CoinGecko is because we have many exchanges sort of reporting fake volume. So we are one of the most comprehensive crypto data aggregator in the space. We track over 4,500 coins and we are plugged into over 300 exchanges. One of the things that we realized is that as we start adding more of these new exchanges, we realized that a lot of them are practicing sort of questionable or reporting fraudulent data or have not so ethical practices and have they're trying to manipulate the reported trading volume numbers because they want to appear as the exchange that has the largest liquidity. In the traditional market, like an exchange with large volume is actually an exchange with the most liquidity. But what we realize in crypto is that this is not entirely the case. So we realized that we needed a new metric to sort of funnel users to the exchanges which has the most liquidity. And using trading volume alone by itself is no longer a good indicator because that number has been hugely manipulated by many parties in the space. So we needed to find new ways to incorporate liquidity metrics. And one of the things that we look into when we incorporate the version 1 of Trust Score is to look into web traffic estimates and to look at order book data. So for web traffic estimates, we use data from SimilarWeb, where you can get an estimate of the number of visitors to a particular exchange and over a period of 1 month. And what we do is make an assumption that assuming all exchanges have roughly similar percentage of users trading on a mobile app and on the API and are distributed globally, then you would expect that exchange reports a large trading volume would have a lot of visitors visiting the website as well. So based on that, we use that and to try to get a number of daily active users for the exchange. And if we take the reported volume and divide it by the daily active users to kind of get the average daily volume traded per user per day. And if we find that an exchange has a very big difference between the number of visitors that comes to the website and the reported trading volume, so they are reporting a very high trading volume relative to the traffic that they get, we sort of normalize their traffic to a benchmark which comprises of the Bitwise 10 trusted exchanges. So that's essentially what we do for the web traffic. And then we also believe that for each coin, there's a lot of exchanges. So we started looking at the order book, we look at their bid and ask spread, we look at the cost of capital, the slippage cost. So the order book depth, amount of capital required to move the order book by 2%. So from the last done price. So what we saw was very interesting. We saw some markets on some exchanges which supposedly has over $100 million in daily trading volume. We has, like, for example, the third most liquid exchange for Litecoin, but we saw their bid-ask spread was shockingly 89%. It was you basically can't make any meaningful trade because you sort of lose your entire money just trading 2 times, for example. And we also saw that, for example, the order book depth, it was only $100 to move the order book by 2%. I mean, that's very bad because with only $100, you already moved the order book by 2%, and you lose 2% of your money instantly just by making one trade. So based on all this information now, we look at the depth, we look at the bid-ask spread, we categorize each exchange with a traffic light symbol: green for good, yellow for red, and yellow for fair, moderate, and red for bad. And we sort of give a gauge and we sort exchanges based on this ranking so that users may not get misled into bad exchanges who are manipulating the data. So this is version 1 of Trust Score, which we have rolled out about 1 month ago. And now the aim is to actually improve Trust Score and to incorporate more of these metrics in the coming months.
All right, that sounds like quite a comprehensive bit of analysis. And why do you think the trust score is so important at this junction in the market? What is the need to introduce the trust score right now?
Yeah, because too many exchanges are putting out fake data. They all want to manipulate their data, and we have many users getting misled by exchanges, thinking that, I mean, from the user's point of view, they want to come to visit CoinGecko and they want to go to an exchange that has the most liquidity. But what ends up happening is the exchanges that manipulate their trading volume somehow manage to mislead many new users who may not be aware of which exchange has the most liquidity into signing up for the exchange account. And this is not good for the overall ecosystem. So we believe that if an exchange is good, it must have the right liquidity. I mean, the very liquid exchange, and it has sufficient depth. And essentially, this is making it a lot harder for the exchange to cheat, I would say.
Right. And so you mentioned that this is version 1 of the trust score, and the two important parameters that you are introducing, which not a lot of data aggregators are introducing, are order book data as well as web traffic. Are you looking to introduce a lot more parameters probably in the different versions of trust score?
That's right. We are actively working hard in the CoinGecko HQ at the moment to incorporate many of these other data. Some of the data that we'll be incorporating in the coming months would be proof of reserves. So we look at how much BTC and ETH that the exchange has based on on-chain analysis. We're actively working on this thing. We're looking at some of the trade history data to sort of get a better overview of which trades are wash trading, or which are real trades. That's obviously a bit harder. We're going to introduce a feature where users can leave their reviews, because at this point in time, a lot of users don't have an outlet to put a review of an exchange. So what ends up happening is we get a lot of emails about users complaining how this exchange is bad or the other exchange is bad. So with this user review, users can sort of give a rating to the exchange and say whatever they want about exchange, whether it's good or bad. And then if you are the user coming to the site, to CoinGecko, you can kind of make a judgment of how good an exchange is based on all these reviews. We're going to start incorporating licensing and regulation regimes. So for example, if this exchange has a license somewhere in whichever jurisdiction, for example, exchanges in Japan are regulated, we're going to put inside the information about this exchange being regulated, hopefully with a link and a license number of an exchange in Malaysia or in Japan, or in Estonia or in the US, license number preferably. Social media analysis, going to start looking at social media analysis. So if you are a big exchange, you probably have a larger social media following as well, a more active Twitter, Facebook profile, most likely. So yeah, these are some of the metrics that we'll be looking at, and it's very interesting to see. I think proof of reserves will be very interesting because you can sort of tell which exchange has, if you have a lot of daily trading volume, you probably have a lot of users, and you probably have a larger holding of Bitcoin and Ether in your wallets as well. So that, to a large extent, will sort of tell how solvent the exchange is based on on-chain analysis. An exchange can be very clearly defined as a scam if you open an account, you can deposit money into it, but you can't withdraw the money out. That's obviously not a real exchange.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Find the links to our social media channels in the description below.